So we're going to talk about basically the goal setting. So now we're talking about whether this is like a food goal or a fitness goal, just some things that help. So you guys can write some of these down, the like do's and don'ts. I'll go through them fairly quickly, but kind of what we mentioned already, don't try and overhaul every habit at the same time, you know, New Year's resolution style. Don't set goals that lead to self-beat up. So I really prefer to set goals in a way where it's like kind of a reward. It is good to kind of structure your goals. So say it's like, hey, for 6 weeks, I'm gonna work on my strict pull-up, and you know, once I get that strict pull-up, I get to go get a massage, or you know, whatever that looks like, as opposed to like, oh, if I don't get my strict pull-up, then I can't eat sugar. Like, you kind of see the difference between a negative and positive like mindset when you're looking at how to like reward yourself. Don't try and do it all alone, which sometimes I think we can try and do as women. Like, we try and take care of it all, and like we wear all the hats, and we're wondering why we're like so run down. But we also have a very communal aspect that when we do achieve things, we realize like, oh, it's because I had support. So one of the biggest ones here is try not to fall into the once I lose this amount of pounds, then I'll be fit, pretty, sexy, successful, lovable, because that's like, it's like a constant thing that you're chasing. The more we can practice stepping into the end result first, you actually create the environment in your body. So as an example, say it's someone that wants to lose weight, and they're just like, oh, well, once I lose weight, then I'll like be successful. Once I lose weight, then I'll get the, you know, girlfriend, boyfriend. Once I lose weight, da-da-da-da-da. Like, we know that rabbit hole, right? If they practice the way of being first, like, okay, well, who do I want to be? Like, when I see this image of myself, I want to be, well, I want to be, you know, I want to be happy. I want to be confident. So I'm going to practice my confidence. It's not a perfect, it's a practice. I'm going to practice my confidence. I'm going to practice whatever I look like now. I'm putting on my sexiest outfit, whatever I feel good in, and I'm going to practice flirting. Like, whatever that is. And honestly, like, people that do that, their body is sent signals to where they might not even really change their diet, and they will lose weight. Right? They're relaxing into themselves. They're setting up the environment internally, which, by the way, that 1% is one of the things to do. Practicing being the 1% means you're practicing just having an inner shift, right? So yeah, being the 1%, that 1% of people that like, how do you achieve that goal? And like, you actually kept the weight off, or you actually like kept it going, you have that maintenance. It's that there was some other internal like life event that shifted from the inside out. Does that make sense? Cool. And then these ones, the do's, these also definitely have to do with literally like our achieving physical CrossFit goals. So set empowering goals, create external accountability. I know there's some like groups of women, even in our gym, that have buddied up and become training partners. They do accessory work together, and it's like super fun and empowering. So shout out just like a few CrossFit or fitness goals that you have. Maybe it's a gymnastics move, or like fitness, endurance, strength, a skill that you want. Muscle up. Oh, muscle ups. 3. Oh, nice. A strict pull-up. Awesome, yeah. And as women, you know what, one thing that sucks? We can have pound for pound the exact same amount of upper body muscle as a man, and he can still lift more. Just like our upper body strength, even if we have pound for pound the same amount of muscle, men are still stronger. When it comes to the upper body stuff, that's why men do, you know, muscle ups all day and get a strict pull up when they've never done CrossFit. But so the accessory work, include accessory work. That's something, and I say ask for guidance. Ask one of your coaches in class, or like, Dawn, you're gonna get a push up. Yeah.
No, because I just. I just went to a doctor in New York, and he said I was putting too much pressure on my toes. So I've lost my ligaments in my upper toes.
Oh, well, we'll teach you how to get a push-up without hurting your toes.
Yeah, Jack doesn't help.
Yeah, see? There's a way around that.
But yes, that is what I'm trying to do.
Awesome. Yeah, love it. Yeah, so accessory work, what that means is there's like only so much time if we have a muscle up cycle that you're gonna work on muscle ups. Like if it's accessory work is like maybe ask a coach like, hey, I really wanna get my muscle up. What is something I could do for 5 or 10 minutes after or before class that would help me? You know, which of course working on strict pull-ups, working on your strict ring dip, like those are great progressions. Ask them to show you one of the progressions on with the band and the rings. I learned my muscle up by literally, I would loop 2 bands around the big ring and like hook my foot in the band on the rings and like do muscle ups there, because just feeling the range of motion is what helped me, like training wheels. So for sure. And then right here it just says when ready, play with intensity. So that graph is basically it shows that comfort and results are like inversely related. I was gonna redraw it, but I want to respect your time because we still have some things to do. But I'll just do it really quickly on this. So basically, if I'm really, really comfortable up here, right? We're sitting here right now, we're like physically pretty comfortable, which means we don't have a whole lot of like metabolic benefits or results. Super, like not as much as like if I'm doing a workout or whatever, right? So when we're working out, I'm trying to draw this, like benefit goes up like this, right? And intensity and benefits and results kind of work together. So if I'm moving this way, I'm increasing intensity, I'm also increasing my benefit and results, right? So think of the workout where you kind of just go through the motions. You're like, I probably could have pushed a little harder. That, like, on a day-to-day basis, ultimately, can be like one thing that you can change that will sustainably change your overall results. Is every time you come to class, you put that face on of like, all right, I'm giving 100%, like as if I'm, you know, in a competition right now. And maybe your body doesn't need that every time you come to class, but if you find yourself just going through the motions, then you're staying comfortable, right? So as I get less comfortable in a WOD, I'm also increasing results, right? Less comfortable, more intensity. There's what I call like a little sweet spot here where you feel kind of consistently you're getting results, you're feeling good. Of course, we know the benefits and results go away if there's something happens, like we increase the intensity too much, like we get hurt or we're not recovering. That's when you pull back. Awesome. Cool. So this is the MindBody Nutrition and eating psychology part. I've shared, this is some of the stuff where I'm like, oh, I'm going to share this later. So we'll just go through it quickly here. But I like to share some common, in a sense, toxic nutritional beliefs that are still extremely widespread, especially to women, that are just old science. And they're just not true. And we don't hear it every day. So you're going to hear it today. Number 1, calories in versus calories out equals weight control. Meaning if I go online and Google calculate how many calories my body needs in the day and I eat that many amount and I know how much I'm burning when I work out and I know how much I burn just sitting, my daily caloric needs, I can control exactly how much I weigh. Who thinks on an intuitive level that's not true? Not true. Yeah. And it's not to say there's an aspect of okay, I can be aware of my calorie intake or be aware. One reason this is not true is because even the foods that we eat that are packaged like something, a protein bar that says 200 calories, it could be off by a couple hundred calories. It could be off. It's just it's not always consistent. And it's also There's something that's called biocircadian rhythm, which means that our bodies, most human bodies, just like our circadian rhythm when we're sleepy or energetic, has a natural rhythm that most of us follow. The same thing happens with our metabolism, right? So waking up, metabolism is rising. Takeaway for today, it's always highest when the sun is highest in the sky. So average noon to 1:30 is good to have your biggest meal, because that's when your metabolism is highest, your calorie burning capacity is highest, and then it starts to dip. So if we skip breakfast, don't eat that much for lunch, running around, kind of stressed out, and then binge on everything in the kitchen at night, our metabolism is super slow. We're gonna hold on to weight. Are you laughing at me saying metabolism? I'm gonna just not say it anymore. That's why sumo wrestlers, they'll actually set an alarm to wake up in the middle of the night to eat because they want to gain weight, right? So that's why when we're eating super late at night, that is something that's true. Our metabolism is pretty low at that point. So that's why the same 500 calories that I eat for breakfast might not burn the same in my body as they do if I eat that same 500 calories at night. The other factor that kind of moves with this is that just our bodies change in general, and we go through different seasons. We all grow up and grow older. We have that period oh, I'm 30, oh, now I'm 40, and it's sweet, my body's changing. And it's yeah, it just changes. And the other way that we, what's that?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we have a lot of generations in here. Or is it uphill? Because I have something that you guys have over us. We'll share it. Okay, really quick, are you guys okay if we go for about 10 more minutes? Okay. So the second one here, exercise more and eat less equals weight loss. And a lot of this ties into the whole stress thing too, because we can get to a point where if we're over exercising, our body just goes oh, okay, I've hit this point, I'm at enough, I'm actually gonna go backwards now, and my cortisol's increasing because I'm super stressed and you're exercising too much, and I'm gonna hold on to weight because you're putting me through too much. And the same thing happens when we don't eat enough. When we skip meals, we literally put our body in a flight or flight. You can just keep laughing at my pronunciation. Enunciation? Fight or flight mode. So just to say that, again, this is all there's a paradox of hey, if I am not doing anything and I start exercising more and I eat less, might I lose weight? Yes, but it's not to take that as the entire truth. Number 3, skinny equals healthy. Fat in food or on my body is unhealthy. You'll still see magazines and doctors' offices with fat-free milk is healthy and yay. So healthy fats are good, and they actually help us stay at a healthy body composition. And then the fat on the body, that just goes to what I was sharing, where there are actually studies where what we categorize as obese are still healthy bodies, right? They run marathons. Has anyone seen the movie Embrace? From the body image movement? Holly, yes. We chatted about it. It's an amazing documentary. It's called Embrace. It's a body image documentary by an Australian woman named Taryn Brumfitt. Highly recommend it. Embrace. Last one is, but she's this awesome, husky Australian woman, and she runs marathons, and she has her before and after picture, where her before picture is the fitness show that she did, and she had lost all this weight, and her after picture is her naked with all her awesome curves, and she's just owning it. So she started a whole thing. Last one here, what we eat and do for exercise is 100% of the health equation. You go to the doctor, oh, I want to lose weight. Oh, well, just, eat this, don't eat that. Do this for exercise, don't do that. That's 100% of your health. The truth is, what we eat and what we do for exercise is maybe 50% of the equation. The other 50% is who we are as movers and eaters, and our emotions that are tied into it are consistency. So it's definitely not 100% of the equation. And someone can still like, this is a grim example, but someone can still work out every day and eat completely organic and they can get cancer. Like, it's, you know, there's other aspects of our health, our, you know, our emotional health, our spiritual health, our, like, our having fun health that, like, all contributes to, like, what I would describe as our overall healthy. Okay, we're gonna watch one quick video. This really dives in on the stress stuff. So when you're watching this video, yes?
I got a question before we end.
Yes.
Regarding the hormones of female, because we all are individual, a bit different. Do you think that everyone's hormones are affecting us on our, like, the body, how it reacts, or?
Oh, you mean like, can someone else's hormones affect mine?
No, like, for example, we have a strength in our body, and like some women have like less, and some others have like more, and like we are following the same diet. Because I had this example, for example, with my CrossFit partner. She followed the diet, I followed the same. She lost weight, I gained 4 pounds of muscle.
Huh. Yeah. That could be, it could be as simple as like the bio-individuality. I don't know if that's a hormonal thing specifically, but some women do, like, I'll build muscle really fast, and we might have, like, it would take literally getting your hormone levels tested in a lab to see if maybe you have like a little higher level of like testosterone. That's when we'll like build muscle faster as women. It can be a factor, but to answer your question, it could be a number of factors. Yeah, yeah. But it's also just something to notice, like right there, you just did an experiment. You're like, an experiment. You did like, hey, I did this, I got this result. Like, huh, interesting. Note. All right, so think of everything that stresses you out and what maybe you could choose to not have you stress out because of what it might be doing to your digestion and metabolism. I need to make sure that it plays the sound.
Have you run away from a saber-toothed tiger recently? Maybe you have. But the stress response you feel when you are late to work, or the growl your stomach makes when you haven't had anything but an energy bar and coffee in the morning, is the same stress response we had when we were cavemen. That stress response is called fight or flight. Grump is a real-life caveman. He goes to work hunting saber-tooths and rabbits for his family. Unfortunately, the saber-tooth chases Grump on occasion, and his physical and emotional stress levels go way up. When this happens, Grump's body's intelligence kicks in to help him escape. His heart rate goes way up, his blood pressure spikes, more adrenaline is produced, and the body moves the blood away from the digestive tract and into the muscles, as digesting food isn't a priority at that moment. Grump eventually does escape and rests at home, and after 15 to 20 minutes, his body resets and begins to operate normally again. Now, your body doesn't know the difference between running from a saber-toothed tiger or rushing your kids to school. Your body's stress response is triggered in both situations. So your blood pressure, heart rate, and food digestion is the same as Grump's when he's running away from a tiger. These types of situations could happen every day in our culture. The difference between you and the caveman is the caveman was able to relax in his cave soon after he finished stressing out. So for the whole day, the caveman would stress the duration of a hunt, which would last maybe an hour. You, on the other hand, have to deal with the stress of racing your kids to school, traffic, work, relationships, and everything else that life constantly throws at you. Plus, add in the constant chemical stress that comes from the unhealthy foods we eat, and it's like you are running from the saber-tooth all day long. The solution is to build your own cave. You have to build your own cave every day, and it means finding some peace in the pile-up of traffic while driving to work. It means going to bed on time instead of staying up late binging on your favorite TV shows. It means taking some time to go outside and do some relaxing work instead of locking yourself up in your office. Otherwise, this chronic stress will open you up to most diseases because your immune system will tank and a lack of nutrients that your body needs due to not being able to digest your food properly. Add to that the fact that your adrenals, which are the glands that sit atop your kidney and decide where your hormones go, are so active with the abundance of stress you experience and put into your body, you will develop adrenal fatigue. Put all this together, and now you know why stress is the start of all disease processes. How can we make our fight or flight more effective? How can we turn it off when we don't need it and bring it up when it's necessary? Ask yourself what you are putting in your body for energy. Your body is probably asking your brain for those artificial stimulants you get, like coffee, processed sugars, or genetically modified foods, because it's confused on why the adrenals aren't filling up like they used to. You have sucked your adrenals dry of hormones that didn't need to be active in the first place. That's huge because we are taking a finite source and sucking it dry. What people may not know is that a lot of things trigger the fight or flight response. Emotional stresses, eating unhealthy foods, overreacting to life's daily challenges, going through tough emotional times, all trigger fight or flight. However, that leaves a lot of areas where we can improve. So if this video has successfully stressed you out with all the info it's loaded you up with, you should take a minute to relax. At least you don't have a tiger running after you. If you always put limit on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus. And you must not stay there. You must go beyond. Bruce Lee.
It seems like a very unconnected quote to me. I was like, okay, we're quoting Bruce Lee. What does that have to do with the stress video? Great quote, but yeah. But I just love that video. I like show it to everyone because it just so great shows some of the key things I heard when we're in a stress state, which even a low level chronic stress could come from negative body image, could come from, I shouldn't be eating this. You're then eating it in a stress state. It could come from getting in a fight with someone, like relationship. It could come from stress from work. And that low level stress, what that stress response is, it's blood being taken away from our digestive system, so it's not there to digest food. It actually inhibits our calorie burning capacity, inhibits, even if we're eating a healthy meal, it inhibits, our body is not at its like the optimized point to actually assimilate nutrients. So we might be eating really healthy and we're actually excreting the nutrients in our pee and poo. So stress is like, if you guys take one thing away from today, it would be to add some relaxation in. Everyone good with that? Yeah. Any other things that you guys noticed with this, or like aha moments or things that you didn't know? Sandra.
I had a question about sleep on there, because I know it says get more sleep and stuff like that. I generally get about 5 hours, and I'm pretty good with that. And always throughout my life, I'm an early bird, and I go to bed like around 11:30, but I wake up around 4:35, and I do a bunch of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
That's just the way I work. How much of that in terms of sleep, like, should you say, like, would affect some of that? Because I feel pretty good. Like, to me, it works. And then but I get the constant message, sleep more, sleep more. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not me. It's not how I'm personally designed, you know?
Then I would say there's nothing wrong. If you get to a point where you're like, wow, I feel really like brain foggy, or I have like a lot of fatigue.
I'm gonna sleep even earlier and I take
Yeah.
care of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Then you don't pay attention to what anyone else says. Yeah.
Do you work out in the morning or at night?
both. Like, sometimes I'll come do 5 a.m.s and sometimes I'll come at 7 p.m.
The sleep thing.
Depending on what
Is your sleep different depending on when you work out? There goes that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
This
what?
is where I was going.
Yeah. Some people, if they work out at night, it's like they can't sleep because their body's amped up or whatever. Some people, it helps them sleep. What I would say, to me, it sounds like you have a pretty good understanding that like it's working for you. The only thing, like if you ever want to experiment to see if things are different, do it for at least 3 weeks. And this goes for changing up your diet or anything, to like see if something's going to be different, taking a certain food group out, do it for at least 3 weeks. A little experiment, and maybe that is, because there are studies that say like, oh, we should get at least 7 to 9 hours, but it's also like more so about how you feel, what I would listen to. So yeah, good question. Okay. All right, so here are some actionable practices if you're struggling with weight, digestive upset, fatigue, inflammation, chronic stress, or just being human. So it's gonna relate to all of us. Estelle goes, check, check, check. Yeah. So number 1 is eat slow. From now on, that is your number 1 practice. This could be homework in itself. Who here would describe themselves as a fast eater? Yeah, I still do it too sometimes, yeah. So that acronym there stands for cephalic phase digestive response. Cephalic phase digestive response. That means our digestion actually starts in our head when we see our food, when we smell our food, see all the different colors, smell the aroma, get excited for it. Our cephalic phase digestive response, it sends enzymes to start preparing our stomach for digestion. And taking that moment of being like grateful for the food in front of you, taking that moment to like smell. We did this in the Fit Outside the Box workshop. One of my friends who came in for one of the days, she brought chocolate, and she was like, let's all smell the chocolate and like think about what it took for the chocolate to get here. And it like made us so excited for this one piece of chocolate. But you know, it just made us all aware of like, wow, you know, every time I sit down to eat, I can be super mindful and grateful, and that's actually supporting my relaxation response so that my body can digest this meal, burn the calories better, digest better. So the cephalic phase digestive response, it's also connected to the enteric nervous system, which is what kind of we call like the brain in the belly. So that those two communicate, it takes about 20 minutes for them to communicate. So when you're scarfing down your meal and you're like, oh, I'm so hungry. And then 20 minutes later, you're like, oh my God. It's because the message has finally gotten to from like your brain to your belly, or from your belly, I guess, up to your brain, to be like, whoa, okay, that's enough. So oftentimes even just practicing like eating to that point of like, oh, cool, I feel satisfied. Taking that time around it will actually feel, oh, I really have had enough. Biocircadian rhythm, we already talked about that. The highest point of calorie burning is in the middle of the day. It's a good point for your biggest meal. Body wisdom, listening to during and after you eat just how you feel, could start to give you new signals that maybe you didn't know about what you might choose to eat or not eat. Limit self-chosen stresses. So this is simple, not easy, right? So out of that video where it's like, okay, like there's gonna be stresses with work, right? There's gonna be stresses in our life, in our relationships. There's things, in a sense, kind of unavoidable. And then there are things that are self-chosen, that it's like we kind of just like put it on ourselves and we make it a lot worse. Like one example for me, when I used to get a growth point for me, when I used to get like a parking ticket, I would like cry, I would beat myself up, I'd be like, I'm so irresponsible, and like, whoa. And I mean, it is irresponsible, but it happens, right? And when I had that like breakthrough of like, well, it's there, it happened, and I can feel this way about it, or I can be like, oh, okay, cool, I get to like figure out how to pay that and like go on about my day, right? And actually, I haven't gotten a parking ticket in quite a long time. Like oddly enough, it also, transformed into it not happening as much. But that's just an example of a self-chosen stress, right? You get in a fight with someone, it's like, again, it's simple but not easy to be like, okay, well, I'm choosing to like hold a grudge. I'm choosing to like, that's just affecting you. I'm choosing not to forgive. Like that's physiological stress in our body that if we're not just expressing it, like maybe you have to like be more honest. Maybe you're a people pleaser. Like this is, it goes into a lot of different areas where you're not speaking your mind. That is a stress, right? So maybe you need to just like honestly communicate with someone and get that off your chest and like let that be an emotional release. But does that kind of make sense? Does everyone have an idea of maybe what some of their self-chosen stressors are? They can start to release, let go of. Breathe and gratitude for food. We talked about that. Oxygen in general also helps just like optimize, our metabolism and body functioning. One from my teacher, Mark David at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, he talks about a case study where he had, because also when we're stressed, we have really shallow breathing. Right? So on a daily basis, just take a couple deep breaths. It's really like the first thing that you can do to just put yourself in a relaxation response. But yes.
Sometimes I find I'm like taking a lot of deep breaths during my day.
week, I realized I must be stressed out because my body's trying not to.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but the deep breaths are good. Like sit there for just 1 minute if you need to on your own. Take a couple deep breaths. You can also, this works in a workout too. If you try and make your exhale longer than your inhale, you'll also stop that fight or flight response a little bit, to the point where you like kind of panic in a workout because like I can't breathe. Start to make your exhale longer. Happens to me all the time. Scheduling some me time, of course, right? Some self-care, some pampering, whatever it is for you, whether it's going for a hike, a massage. This is what we talked about, work from the inside out, be the 1%. Reframing your story, so whatever challenge that you have, maybe it is a health condition. Maybe it is, I just feel like I should be losing weight and I'm not. Or maybe it is, gosh, I feel like I've, tried everything and this isn't working, or whatever it is for you. Reframing that challenge as like, okay, or like maybe you have like, you get really digestive upset. Maybe it turns into like, okay, what is my body trying to tell me, right? What's the bigger teacher here? If you have like emotional eating, right? That's a little bit multifaceted, because food also, we're designed to, our endorphins go off when we eat food. We're designed for food to bring us pleasure. So when we're doing that and we're eating slow, that is a great thing. Like even if you're having the chocolate cake, like you're just like, this cake is making me happy right now. Great, like let it make you happy and eat it slow and enjoy it. You will eat less, you will digest it better, and you'll also be able to sit there and notice like, cool, okay, well I don't want this emotional eating anymore though. Like how do I get rid of it? Well, you start to notice it. You start to notice like, like what triggered this? What was my thoughts where I was like, I have to have cake? Like what was I stressed about? What's something else I could do instead of eating? Because that's something we're taught when we're little. Oftentimes it's maybe something bad happens, mom gives us candy, we feel better, right? And that's our subconscious mind doesn't know any better besides like bad food, now I feel good, right? So we just like stick to that because it's a habit, it's habitual, so we just go to it. So it's like if we want to quote unquote break that habit, first the awareness around it, recognizing like, oh, okay, this is what I do, maybe this is where it comes from, my past, or like a traumatic event where then food was what made me feel better, and then start experimenting with other things that can make us feel better. Does that make sense? Right? Cool. A couple resources. With this, I brought this book. I really love this book. It has a lot of the stuff I've been talking about. It's called The Slow Down Diet. So it goes more into like the science behind eating slow, and it goes into like food quality, a little bit in like our macronutrient balance. It's good stuff. So Slow Down Diet by Mark David, psychologyofeating.com. They have a lot of cool videos. TessieTracy.com. I have like blogs and resources and stuff if you guys want more after today.